Hey guys, and welcome to a very special video, at least for my channel anyway. So you guys who've been with the channel for a while now know that I don't really dabble in deck tech videos. I've done like maybe one in my lifetime, so yeah, it's not really my cup of tea. Yet, I still recognize that a lot of you out there really enjoy deck tech videos, and I feel like it's something missing from the channel. So, being the lazy man that I am, I outsourced. Okay, so that's only half true. I figured since I still want to spotlight other YouTubers out there that may not be as covered as they should, why not have them come on board and do a few deck techs with me? This way you guys get to meet some awesome people, get to know their content, and enjoy the occasional deck tech on this channel. This is all about spreading exposure and working with the community to bring you guys different flavors. And I have no issue using this channel as a collective hub. Which brings me to my first guest slash collaborative deck tech person? Look, the title still needs some work, okay? Her name's MTGGoddess on YouTube, and she makes deck tech videos on her channel. I actually found her by accident just scrolling through the relevant sites, and after watching a few of her videos, realized how entertaining they were. We talked a bit, and she seems like a very genuine person who's really passionate about the community and the game. And thankfully, she agreed to work on an EDH deck tech for the channel here. Now, fair warning, the video went through some wonky technical difficulties, and it's probably not as polished as either of us would like, but give it a chance, guys. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Beautiful jellyfish, my name is Tracy, otherwise known as MTGGoddess here on YouTube. I have been sent here by Simon Lauren. He was like, hey, Tracy, collaborate with me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to collaborate with you. I don't really talk to other YouTubers because, let's be real here, I'm just super busy, but he reached out and I was like, hey, I'll work with you. That sounds great. So, I want to do a deck tech for you guys, and I'm going to be doing it on Roon of the Hidden Realm, and Roon's kind of like my pet deck in EDH. Like, he's a deck that, like, I would love to build this deck, but one of my friends, Krista, has this deck, because, like, Ban is, like, her jam. Like, everyone's like, oh, Krista, yeah, Ban. But, like, when everyone's, like, sees me, they're like, oh, Tracy, Sultai Tassiger. Yeah, okay, that's you. So, I can't make this deck because she already has it, and she has a lot of these cards in here, and she does it to me, like, in such a super awesome way, because the point of this deck is, like, ETB things. It's like, hey, yeah, you know that creature that says ETBs, destroy artifact or enchantment? Hey, I'm gonna make that happen like 12 times in the game, and I'm just gonna destroy your artifacts and enchantments. Moral of the story is this deck is sweet. However, I'm talking to you guys about this deck that I actually haven't built it, so if there are some flaws or whatever, like, that's because I just haven't built the deck. One thing I do want to say, because I'm not going to talk about the mana base in this video, because one, it will take a long time, and also two, because you can build your mana base however you want, though the deck will be listed in the down bar below, so if you want to check that out, you can do that. And also with the mana base, I will say, if you're doing it, make sure you run enough basic lands, because if you're running, like, my list runs, like, Solemn Simulacrum and Farhaven Elf, and if you're running those cards, you really should be running a lot of basic lands so you can get those ETB triggers, because if you make Solemn flicker, like, 5 times, you need to make sure you have enough basic lands for that, and a variety of colors, because you are running tricolor. Okay, so we got a lot of stuff to talk about, let's go. First, we're gonna jump into... I want to save the creatures to last, because I think the creatures are super fun and the juicy part. So the deck is running a total of 35 lands. Like I said, you can check it in the down bar below. First, let's talk about instants, because that's the next on my little list of... Oh, Roon. He's super awesome. I feel like he gets he gets overshadowed by Derevi, because that to me is like a lot of people think that that's the Bant Planeswalker. However, Roon just works super well in this deck because, you know, he's got his whole, like, first off, he's a 4/4 Vigilance Trample. That's really good. And then you just exile something, but then you return it, you know. Return that card to the battlefield. Dude, I just realized that you can exile anyone's creature. It says we're exile another target creature. So you could exile someone's, like, big token. That's really cool. Anyways, super awesome. Okay, so then we have Bant Charm. The first instant is Bant Charm. I'm a huge fan of the Charm cards. I think they're really good, but a lot of people look past them. Yes, they're one of every color, but, you know, you get to destroy target artifact or put target creature on the bottom of someone's library, so it's basically like a, what is that, Condemn that puts it on the bottom and they gain life. Or you may counter an instant spell. So if someone's trying to kill your thing, you're like, boom, counter target instant spell. I like charms. I think they're really good. The next card is Beast Within, which is just one of the best ideal, like, I think this is like one of the best green removal spells in the game. This deck does have quite a bit of removal, but this is a really good creature removal card, because it's anything. Planeswalker, whatever. You really realistically shouldn't have a difficult time dealing with cards, because this deck has so much removal, because you're watching a video by me, it's gonna have a lot of removal. So you just need to remove people's things. So you're destroying anything, they get a 3/3. Guess what? You don't care because your creatures are way more threatening than that 3/3 that you're giving them. Brainstorm. Do you need to say anything? You're running blue, you need to run Brainstorm. You know, drawing 3 cards for 1 mana at instant speed, yeah, you gotta put 2 of those back, but you put away 2 of those cards that you don't need, and then you fetch them away, or top, or like whatever you do, so those cards go away. Yeah, that's what you want to do. Cyclonic Rift. Like I said, you do have a lot of ways of getting rid of things, but Cyclonic Rift is just really, really good because everyone's things go back to their hands, you just don't gotta worry about it for a turn, and then you can just swing all out with your board. That's really awesome. Or someone's about to kill you and you're like, Cyclonic Rift, can't deal with it. Dig Through Time. I love this card. I feel like I haven't talked about this card enough on my channel, but I love Dig Through Time, like, so much. Like, I swear I'm in a bad situation and I was like, Dig Through Time will get me out of it, most likely. You delve away some stuff that you don't need, you delve away some lands in your graveyard that you don't need, or cards that you're like, hey, I'm not gonna cast these again, I don't need these again, whatever. And then you just look at 7 and pick 2 that are really good. So it's basically 2 mana, you get 2 cards at instant speed. Super awesome. Dig Through Time is sweet. I just realized I'm not running... Oh, hold on. No, yeah, I am. Okay. Okay, then we have Fate Forgotten. This is like one of my pet cards that a lot of people don't even know what this card is. Haven't seen this card before. The reason why I really like it is because it's exile. There's quite a bit of destroy in this, but you do need some exile because, let's be real here, people are going to be running things that are indestructible and you need to get rid of them. Fate Forgotten is a really good way of doing that, so I do like it. I know there's so much removal in this deck, but I think that this card definitely has a spot in there just because it is exile. And the last instant is Path to Exile. Pretty standard card. Yeah, exile, just good. They get a land, you don't care. You've exiled their huge, big, dumb Ulamog or Kozilek or whatever. I always get them confused. Whatever one's indestructible, whatever. You just get rid of it. Okay. Enchantments, Aura Shards. I'm pretty sure if you play Aura Shards in a game with someone who's running a ton of artifacts and enchantments, they're not going to have artifacts and enchantments for long, because anytime a creature ETBs, which this deck does that and blinks a lot, you're like, boop, destroy your thing. This card's so mean. Like, this card is just so mean, but it's super good, super strong. Definitely an essential in this deck. Then we have Mirari's Wake. Just to give you, like, a ton of mana. I'm sorry, like, to make your lands, like, give you more value, pretty much. That's what Mirari's Wake's gonna do. And on top of that, your creatures get +1/+1. So good, so strong, great card, needed in this deck. Now, you may say to me, hey Tracy, there's probably better cards than Oblivion Ring, but I have to tell you that you're wrong, because I love Oblivion Ring. It's a Magic card that I collect. You should be running it in your deck. You know, you could be running a myriad of other options. Don't care, it's not Oblivion Ring. Oblivion Ring is amazing. So good, so good. I love this card. Just make sure when you buy it, you get the Lorwyn art, because that's the best art. Ristic Study. This is kind of like a give or take card, depends on your play group, depends on how mean you want to be. I like Aura Shards. I do like Aura Shards, but Ristic Study I do really like. It is situational, but it does make your opponents think about how they want to spend their mana, so. And card advantage, yes. All the time, card advantage, absolutely. You could, like, cut your opponents off from doing something so that, you know, they're like, oh, I have to wait till, you know, next turn to cast the spell. So, I like it. Okay, moving on to sorceries. I have 8. First is Chroma's Vengeance. I really like this. I think this is one of my favorite board wipes because you get rid of artifacts, creatures, and enchantments, so all 3 of those things, goodbye. But if you really don't need it, guess what? You can cycle it. I don't know if I've ever cycled in a Chroma's Vengeance before, but maybe I have. Maybe... No, I run it in Angels, and I run, like, 8 board wipes in that. No, I may run, like, 10 board wipes in the deck, so I'm just like, I don't need this card. Let me draw another card. Council's Judgment. Council's Judgment is so strong, in my opinion. A lot of people think this is better than Oblivion Ring. I mean, hey, we're not picking sides, but Oblivion Ring's definitely better. I just really love Oblivion Ring, okay? It's, like, best card ever. So good, so good. Okay, Council's Judgment, super, super good. The fact that it's target permanent you don't control, and then it gets, like... exiled, so like again, just a good way of like getting rid of some super threatening things. So good in big games of EDH. Council's Judgment is awesome. Then we have Planar Cleansing because I'm Tracy and I run a lot of removal and you need to destroy things sometimes, so yeah, it hurts your stuff, but who cares? Sometimes you just gotta remove everything on the board. Rite of Replication, I love this card. What I love about it is that it can be your stuff if you want to, or it can just be someone else's thing. Like, you know, they have like, I was gonna say Prophet, but that doesn't work because it's not on the format anymore. But you know, they have a super good creature and you're like, okay, sweet, I'll have a bunch of copies of him. Thank you. Really, really good. Oh, so good. Or if you have something that's awesome, you just get copies of it. Sounds good to me. Supreme Verdict. I do think that Supreme Verdict is essential in this deck just because it can't be countered, and there are people who are going to run counter spells in EDH, so just, you know, making it so that it can't be countered I think is just really good, so. You know, I have Tragic Arrogance in here, but now that I look at it, I feel like you don't need it, but I'm trying to think of one of the other cards that I removed, but I can't remember off the top of my head because I was trimming this list, but well, I do like Tragic Arrogance just because it's sacrifice, it gets around those indestructible things, so I like Tragic Arrogance. Okay, then we have Treasure Cruise. Yes. 1 mana, draw 3 cards, sorcery speed is really, really good. I love Treasure Cruise. And Unexpected Results. I feel like I threw this card in here just because I know Krista runs it in hers, and I really like Unexpected Results. Like, let me tell you something, the best thing I think I've ever done with with an Unexpected Results is I was playing Tassiger, because I have it in there, and what's that card? Why am I blanking on what it is? Temporal Trespass. I just casually Unexpected Results into Temporal Trespass, took an extra turn, and then won the game. It was awesome. It was super good. Yeah, Unexpected Results, so good. You know, sometimes you just get, like, super major value. Sometimes you don't. It just, you know, it's unexpected, so. Okay, that's it for Sorceries. Artifacts. First is Chromatic Lantern, which is essential, I think, in 3+ decks. I don't really know if I need to explain that. Super good. Conjurer's Closet is so good. Okay, it's 5 mana, so it's a little bit expensive, but it's just a free blink effect, basically. You don't have to pay anything except for that initial cost. Just end step, just blink something that you have on the field. So good. Gilded Lotus, I do really like because, you know, some things in here have like double mana cost, and you want to be able to, you know, double symbols, double white symbols, double green symbols, double blue symbols, so you want to make sure you can cast your stuff, so Gilded Lotus is like a really good mana rock for that. You know, I don't know if I saw this or someone said it, but Pan Harmonicon, I don't know if I said that right, but so it basically gets things to trigger twice. This is busted. This is a busted card. No, this makes me want to build this deck, but I can't. So good. Card's amazing. Soul Ring. Yeah, Soul Ring. Striconic Resonator. You know, you just get to copy a triggered ability. It's really good. Oh man, you know, like, I have my one ability from, I don't know what card, I don't know, something, and then triggered ability uses the word one. Yeah, just copy it again, so good. Swiftfoot Boots, really essential when you're playing your big dumb things and you want to give them haste. And Hexproof, really good for that. And Thran Dynamo because it's a mana rock and you need those. Now, the deck only runs one Planeswalker, and that is Venser, because let me tell you something, all of his abilities are so good in this deck. You know, even if you don't get his ult off, like, the first 2 abilities are so strong. First, you know, his +2 is a flicker ability, which is awesome. You know, and also just giving your team unblockable when you've Craterhoof Behemoth and you have all these Avenger of Zendikar tokens, and, you know, you just have, like, 15 creatures on the board, just making all those things, you know, unblockable for, you know, his minus ability is really, really good. So, Venser is super strong. Definitely belongs in this deck. And then his ult, I mean, you know, cast something, exile, sounds good to me. Okay, now we move on to the creatures now. There are so many juicy creatures that you could run, and I had a really difficult time narrowing this down, like, let's be real here. Why did my computer do that thing? Oh my gosh, do not tell me you need to charge. Oh my gosh, no! Okay, we need to get the most of this time. Okay, the first thing is Acidic Slime. Okay, like I said, removal. But what I really like about Acidic Slime is its target land. So someone trying to do this jank thing, they're trying to blink their Bajuka Bog and trying to exile people's graveyards, or like whatever they're trying to do, Cabal Coffers, that whole thing, get rid of it. That's what I really like about Acidic Slime. The whole artifact enchantment, you've got that kind of covered on a lot of bases, but the fact that it's a target land, so good. Okay, then we have Angel of Finality. Yes, I'm one of those people who does a lot of jank things with their graveyard. So yeah, Angel of Finality and being able to blink that and just, you know, exile your graveyard. Play something, exile your graveyard, just, yes, so good. This is a card that depends on your play group, but if you have a lot of people who are doing things with graveyards, yeah, Angel of Finality is so good. Okay, then we have Avenger of Zendikar. I don't know if I need to say anything about this card, but this card is nuts. To me, it's one of the best cards in this deck simply because you can ETB it, and you have, like, land triggers, and you get all these plant tokens, and then, like, you have a million of them, and just really, really good. Especially because you blink Solemn Simulacrum and Farhaven Elf, and you get more lands. That's what I call the goo. That's amazing. Bane of Progress. I feel like as I'm going through, I find how much removal I put in this deck. I didn't even mean to do that. This may be a little bit overboard, but probably not. Bane of Progress is really, really good. You know, not only do you get to destroy all of the artifacts and enchantments on the board, but it gets +1/+1 counters. So if you have friends who are like major artifact and enchantment junkies, just play Bane of Progress. It will wreck their day. Card's great. Okay, then we have Brago. King Eternal. Brago is amazing. You know, synergizes super well with Venser. You make it unblockable, and then you can blink anything you want. Anything you want. Oh, I'm sorry. It's non-land. Okay, so you can't do lands. That would be busted. That would be like, help swing with my thing, untap all my lands. Sounds good to me. No. That'd be busted. Okay, Coiling Oracle. Yeah, card's nuts. I mean, card advantage, it's a 1/1. Blinking this thing, getting some potential value. If it's a land, it goes into the battlefield. You don't even have to pay the mana cost. Yeah, Coiling Oracle, great. Crater of Behemoth, I really want to run this card. I think this card's just amazing. Again, just blinking this thing, giving everything +X, where X is the number of creatures you control. I'm pretty sure if you play this and Avenger of Zendikar, I don't think they win. It's so good. And then this thing's got haste. Do they get trampled too, right? Yeah, they get trampled. Who said that Craterhoof was allowed to be printed? Because just, so good. Okay, now I threw Dragon Lord Jamoka in there because it doesn't have an ETB effect like everything else in this deck does, but I just really love Dragon Lord Jamoka. Like, you know, it can't be countered, but then no one can cast spells on your turn, which is really, really good. And on top of that, it's huge. It's a 5/7 flying lifelinker. Deck doesn't really have that much flying, so this is really good that it does. And the fact that it's just anti-blue, you can't counter my stuff. I love Dragon Lord Jamoka. Elvish Visionary, super straightforward, but it's a 1/1 and draws card. You need the card advantage, and you do have some with your spells, but having a creature do that is really strong. Essence Warden. I did decide to throw a little bit of life gain in there. If you don't have the green one, you could run, there's the 2 white ones. There's Soul Warden and Essence, no. There's Soul Warden and then the other one, I can't remember the name, but yeah, the fact that you just gain life, and again, you blink so many things, I think is good. You know, this may not be in everyone's build, but I thought that it was good just to gain some life out of it. Eternal Witness. The fact that this is, I think, one of the best cards, like, in Magic ever, but especially in this deck, because you enter, it triggers, you get something, and then you blink it, and then you get something else. Like, it just means that someone kills something, you just get it back. Someone kills something super threatening, get it back. And then that thing ETBs, and then it's just a whole process and just so good. Farhaven Elf, I talked about this a bunch, really good for mana acceleration. You can run a variety of any of the ETB things with basic lands if you want to. I would definitely take advantage of that. Like, I think to me it's just getting lands out of your deck for free. And I'm running Farhaven because it's any basic land, which is good. Over, what's the other one that gets a plain forest? I can't remember the name right now, but yeah, Farhaven Elf. Fierce Empath. Fierce Empath, Dragon Lord Jamoka, Avenger of Zendikar, like whatever juice you want. Great, and then you could just get the next one the other turn when you blink it. Yeah, great. Alright, don't remember where I left off, but I think it was Flicker Wisp. Okay, yeah, just because you need more blink abilities, yeah, and it's also got flying advantage. I like it. Glen Elendra Archmage. This card is nuts. If you get this off and you manage to just blink it a bunch of times, this says that, I'm just gonna, counter, like, basically everything that you play that's a non-creature. You wanna kill my stuff? Nah, sack it. I'm sorry, oh yeah, then sack it, and then it's got Persist, yeah. But yeah, this just with Blink is just absolutely nuts. Like, they just don't kill your stuff because you just keep having this, you always keep mana open. Really good. Green Warden of Marassa. Double Ewit. Double Ewit, and it's also huge. It's 5/4. Amazing. Great. Hornet Queen. Hornet Queen is nuts. I love this card. So, first off, it's a flying Death Toucher, and then it just ETBs and you get all these tokens, and then those tokens have not only flying, but they have Death Touch as well, so if you need to be on the defensive side, it's really good. I love Hornet Queen. Karmic Guide, because, you know, getting things back, you know, getting a creature back without paying its mana cost turns out to be really, really good. Oh, Karmic Guide's so good. Okay, Mist Meadow Witch. Yeah, I realized also in Mist Meadow Witch, it's actually any creature, so you could do one of your opponents, if they make like a huge token or whatever, you can just like exile it. That's really good. If someone's playing Dark Depths, yeah, that's good. That exiles that. That's awesome. Muldrifter, because it's a thing, it flies, and it draws you cards. Yeah, that's it. Merc Fiend Liege. This to me is kind of like whatever your style is, like depending. I don't know if you necessarily need to run this card, but I do really like it because first off, it gives all your things get big. And on top of that, it's like kind of sort of build your own profit, you know, you untap all green and blue creatures. So if you want to like do this with Roon and then you keep exiling things, like that's really awesome. It doesn't do it for your lands, unfortunately, because that would be Magical Christmas Land, but yeah, Merc Fiend Liege is really good. Just building up an army, pumping your, like, plant tokens, your Hornet Queen tokens, just anything. So good. Mystic Snake. This is, again, like, if you have this and, you know, the other one, that Glen Elendra Archmage, you just counter everything. You just blink this, counter it, like, they don't play med. This deck is so mean. This deck is just so mean. I love it. Prime Speaker Zagana, because you basically will just always have cards in your hand. You will just never run out of cards, and then they die, and then, you know, you play them, and then they die, and then you bring them back. It just... Prime Speaker's great, and on top of that, she gets counters as well, so she gets, like, super big. You know, you do this with, like... I know, I didn't throw Artisan of Kozilek in here, but you can do that. That's, like, my favorite thing to do with Prime Speaker Zagana, is, like, Prime Speaker plus Artifact, what card did I just say? I literally just said it and I don't remember the name of it. It's the 10-9 when you... Artisan of Kozilek. That's like my favorite thing to do. You could run Artisan too if you need like a super big threat. Progenitor Mimic. I've never played with this card before, but I see a lot of people run it, so I was like, hey, I guess I'll throw it in here. You know, it enters a copy of anything and then you just make like a token. It's so good. It's so nuts. And again, it's any creature on the battlefield, so if you don't have any good stuff going on, you could just copy someone else's thing. And you get tokens, you get more tokens. Oh, so good. And then you don't like what it is, so then you just blink it, and then you make it something else. It's just so dumb. Oh, man. Okay, this is my own secret juice, but you don't have to run this card. Curian Ranger. This card to me is really underrated. I run it in Yisan, and I really love it because it's really good for, like, blinking Roon. And if you have any other creatures where you tap them, I would definitely suggest putting this card in there because returning a forest is such a small cost to pay for being able to, like, untap something and then do Roon's ability again, or, like, whatever again. So, I really like it. Reclamation Siege. Don't know if you need it, but just in case you need more artifact and enchantment removal. Reclamation Siege for ya. Restoration Angel. What I really like about Restoration Angel is it's got flash itself, so you just, anytime you're just, oh, you're gonna kill my thing? Nah, B. Restoration Angel, it doesn't die, and I got a 3/4 out of it, and my thing that I flickered gets an ETB effect, so I get to do something again. So I removed your thing from combat, and yeah, good. Okay, I really hope my computer doesn't die. I'm rushing as fast as I can. Revelark! This is another card that I really, really want to play with. So, you know, it's when it leaves, so you flicker it, and then you just keep doing that, so basically nothing goes to your graveyard, and then you just get all that stuff with power 2, like, back onto the battlefield. Yeah. Great. And then it's got Evoke, so if you don't have another thing, it goes to the graveyard and then you get it back from Green Mortimeressa or Eternal Witness or whatever. Seedborn Muse. Totally 100% optional, but I do think that Seedborn Muse is just super strong because it untaps all permanents, everything. You're talking enchantments. I don't know if that's relevant to enchantments, but you're talking about your artifacts that you have, that you tap for mana, your Soul Ring, all that sort of stuff, and then all your lands, all your creatures, just Seedborn Muse is nuts. This card's great. Solemn Simulacrum, I talked about that earlier, but card is really strong. Also, too, what's really good, it has to die for you to draw a card, but again, if it dies, you just bring it back with something. Not really a huge deal. Sun Titan. This is another card that I really, really, really want to play with. Just sounds amazing. So DTBs or it attacks, and then on top of that, it's like a 6/6 vigilance big dude. Like, what? And then you can return target permanent. So someone kills your Oblivion Ring, you get your Oblivion Ring back, goes back to the battlefield, exile something. Yeah. Or you get back one of your creatures that they killed. Oh, so good. Terastodon. Because this is like, just in case I really need to deal with those artifacts, enchantments, is it lands? Yeah, I can get lands with this. Again, you give them 3 planeswalkers. You give them 3/3s, you don't care because it's more, you know, it's better that you're going to do that. You know, those 3/3s are better than whatever you're destroying. And on top of that, it's a 9/9. Doesn't have trample or anything fancy, but it's a 9/9. It's really big. Okay, almost done, almost done. Thragtusk. Thragtusk is one of the best cards in this deck because, first off, ADTBs you gain 5 life. So you just keep doing that, you just keep gaining life. Sounds good to me. And then, it leaves the battlefield. It doesn't have to die, you just get a 3/3. So, like, you just keep flickering this, you keep gaining life, and you get 3/3s out of it. This card is busted in this deck. Easily one of the best cards in the deck. Okay, then we have Venser, Shape Savant. So, Venser's awesome. It's got, you know, flicker, whatever. And then again, if someone's playing, like, tokens, you just kind of laugh at them, because then you just return them back to their hand. And then you just keep blinking this, and you just keep blinking everyone's permanents, and then bringing them back to their hand, and then everyone has a bad day but you, because you're like, LOL, you have no board. Okay, then this is another, like, super secret tech that I like, and that is White Mane Lion. This is a really interesting card that works really, really well with any of the ETB things, only when this ETBs, but it's got flash, so again, you can, like, you know, remove something back to your hand. Yeah, you gotta, like, repay the mana cost for it, but, you know, I don't know, I just think it's really good. And it's also 2 mana, so it's a decent early game thing. And the last card is Woodland Bellower, because this is so good with Farhaven Elf, really good with Fierce Empath, and Eternal Witness. Those are going to be your 3 heavy hitters that you really want to get, and it just goes into the battlefield. So you're like, Woodland Bellower into Eternal Witness into getting back that board wipe, you know, like crazy stuff like that. Okay, that was it. That was it for talking about Roon. Again, like I said, the deck list will be listed in the down bar below if you want to check it out. Thank you for taking the time to watch my video.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed that awesome deck tech. Yeah, I know, kinda abrupt ending, but what can you say, technical difficulties. Regardless, I really appreciate MTGGoddess for coming in and working on this great video. You guys can find her channel over at youtube.com/MTGGoddess. Go check out her other stuff, subscribe, and show her some love if you liked it, and let me know what you thought about this type of collaboration in the comments below. Let me know if this is something you'd like to see more of. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it and want to see more, go ahead and leave a comment, share it with your friends, and subscribe to both me and MTGGoddess. You can find links to both our channels in the description below. As always guys, glad you could stop by, and I'll see you next time.